Good evening, welcome back, and just have a look at where we are right now. Look at that candle. This is what we all like to see. Pretty good day today, actually. Yeah, no, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Yeah, no big deal. Just making a couple thousand, so, I'm bragging a lot. Sorry. Anyways, so what do we got? Am I late? I am 15 minutes late. You know what? I wasn't prepared. We'll just leave it at that. We have a clear resistance, of course, at 117,000 due to that is where the super trend coincided, level that we left yesterday as a potential resistance. We are meeting with that right now, completely breaking out of this pivot, by the way, which not so relevant for the upcoming days, right? We're getting new pivot levels soon, by Sunday usually. That is when it is, because it's a weekly pivot in the 4-hour chart. Downtrend technically still there because of this resistance that we have here. I mean, clearly you can draw one from the all-time high basically to where our recent levels are, and you could agree that that would look logical if this downtrend was to continue, right? It'd be like, oh yeah, remember that nice old pump we had over here? Anyway, we're all the way at 107,000 maybe. That's hopefully not going to happen. But it could be the case. I'm looking at USDT chart. Let me go to USDC. This is where I am at here. I covered these purchases I made yesterday. Yesterday on my stream. I made these purchases here. Perfect bottom timing, perfect bottom timing. It's probably the last one I said, you know what, forget it. This is the one that happened today. We were crashing and I was very negative. I was down 1,000. I was like, it might be over because I don't know if I'm going to be putting in more funds with every little dip that we have. Timing the perfect bottom each time. That's just luck. It's not really skill. Right? Sure, you can determine where levels could land, right? Things like that. This obviously did not exist at the time. I was looking at these levels. I was looking at these levels. I was looking at... What was I even looking at here? I don't know. I just decided to buy like half and more over here. Some kind of entry like that. Because I was scared we might not hit this support level and start taking off from there. But clearly we did. So I had my other order here just in case we did. I'm glad we did hit that, broke out of this, and of course met up with our next resistance. We immediately shot out. Now, why did this happen? It seems like what we were scared about with Jerome Powell, though, what he was going to say in today's meeting was actually not so bad and was actually beneficial for markets. I don't remember if I covered what the percentages were yesterday. I'm pretty sure I did. For the chances of us getting a rate cut in September. It was something ugly, like a 70-something% chance. It's not ugly. It's still, 0.75% chance that we will be getting a rate cut. That's pretty good in my books. And that's something I also mentioned, like, come on, yeah, we will be getting a rate cut in September and another one in maybe December, right? It's logical to think that way. Even the Fed has projected something like this. It's just that the markets are being a little bit too greedy and, dumping on the possibility that, maybe we don't get a rate cut for September. But what Powell said today, it's practically confirmed we will be getting a rate cut in September. It seems like he's going to be blaming the labor market as the reason to cut, based off of some of the stuff that he mentioned. We'll be going over all of that when we get to our news section. There was also even... Trump was trying to kind of get involved into all this by announcing a surprise meeting right after Powell's meeting. People were nervous about that too and saying, okay, what is Trump going to do? Is he going to be there for, damage control or, something? Maybe he was also nervous about what Powell would say in terms of what's coming up next. But it seems like, we got that little hint of wording that yes, we are likely to get a rate cut for September. Not exactly that was said, but something along those lines. So we'll get to that when we cover it. So entries on Bitcoin are now all in the green. This is what I was literally discussing yesterday, saying, you know, buy bit over here, bit more, and a lot more. At a very solid support, I understood that this level, 111.8, what did I buy this at? 111.800? Can you please show me here? Oh, 111.987. That's where I put my my order in the end. So took advantage of all those. I'm still using only one hand, by the way, because I need to hold on to my mic. And I'm also still sick. Anyways, that dropped my average price to 113,800. We've now skyrocketed from there. We reached a high today of 117,395. The resistance was 117,358. Talk about just perfection. Like, these levels are just great. I love it. This was a positive 2,000 something at one point. We're at 1,800 positive. I'm not selling. I will be holding on to that because I think we will continue going much higher. I'm planning to hold on to this for a couple of weeks until we actually top out on this cycle. I still believe that we have a bit more juice in it, and we can continue much higher. That goes for the altcoins as well, although admittedly, I didn't invest into the altcoins as much as I would have wanted to. I don't know. Yesterday it seemed fine. Everything was in the red. I'm pretty sure I showed that to you guys. Maybe Aptos was like slightly green. But everything else was like very red. I'm really dying still. Okay. So from there, I guess, yeah, we'll go discuss the other positions and how those are. Did you guys have a look at Ethereum? Broke a new all-time high today. Rising from 4,200, just immediately shot up from that news just to break an all-time high as if it's nobody's business. We had BNB recently break an all-time high. And now it's Ethereum's turn, so congratulations to Ethereum. Didn't think it was possible. We don't have a downtrend anymore. Ever. Like, we really didn't have one since, like, ever since we broke 4,000, right? We had the one from, like, almost 5,000 all-time high. 4,865 is what my level shows. We broke it when we rose past 4,000, right? 4,000 levels about over here. So that was good. Came back down. I could have DCA'd into Ethereum, but I really didn't want to because of... I've got this traumatic experience with Ethereum from the past, so I decided to just leave it alone there for now. Whatever. It's one of the coins that has pumped the hardest today. I think overall it was, like, at its best, like a 17% pump. Whatever the number was. I'll measure it just to make sure. 16, yes, almost 16, 17% pump. Pretty good. Good stuff for Ethereum. Staying up here, of course, at the resistance of the all-time high. We'll see what's next for it. I think we could stagger along the top for most coins, right? Due to the fact that tomorrow's Saturday, nothing really happens on a Saturday. Ethereum is overbought, however, at this level. Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin can go a little bit higher, so wouldn't surprise me to see a weekend pump if that is the case. But, I mean, worst comes to worst. Like, obviously, there's some profit taking. A lot of people are calling it tops for now over here, although I still think we got enough room to continue higher. Where, how much higher? About 120k. If we do drop, though, we only really got 115,000 to look for as a support if the weekend ends up being a bit of a decay. But my vision is toward the upside nonetheless. That's for Bitcoin. XRP up 6% today, shooting up from a low of 278 and even much lower than the price that I entered, and ended up hitting a high of $3.10. We are now dropping back down to $3.02 as people are taking profits on XRP. I wouldn't sleep on XRP though. I am seeing a lot of good news coming out for it, and I have some articles that we'll discuss for XRP later on today. Making $87, it's pretty pathetic, and part of the reason why I hate XRP personally. But, I mean, long term, it is a good play. It's something you do want to hold on to. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Solana is up 8.9%. Also one of the top movers here. Great movement. I bought around the same, close to the same area for both of these. I had another order all the way down here at 167 if we were to continue to crash, but we didn't. We actually started rising a bit earlier 2 days ago, hitting a high of 189, and then yesterday I covered it. We were around this area, about 180. From there, we dropped to a low of, what was our lowest point today? 177, before we shot straight up to 202, breaking out of that $200 barrier, which is just fantastic. Now, I had my take profit originally at 204, I think. I moved that. I'm moving it to 262 for now, just to see how much higher we can go. I'm going with this amount of Solana as high as we can. Obviously, I would have loved to have loaded up on more, but it is what it is. You'll never be able to time the perfect bottom and go all in at the perfect amount of time. I'm always having cash on the side, no matter what. Even if the dip seems like it can't dip any lower, usually it does, and you'll be surprised by that. So, lesson learned, my personal case, and I'm trying to have money on the side as much as I can. Try not to be reckless on my entries as well, but I'm doing my best, believe me. 197 is the current price of Solana, making 490 on it. It was making, what was it, like 500 something maybe, I don't know. It was good. It was some good movement though. Chainlink still rising and rising, even amidst the bad news, but it didn't pump like as crazy as the rest of them because it was already doing so well. It's maintained its uptrend the whole time, has not changed. I purchased somewhere around this perfect bottom, I think. August 2nd, I remember that. Just gonna flex that position one more time. If I can find it. Chainlink, bought at 1561. Yeah, literally 1538 was our low point. 1561 is where I purchased. That's perfect bottom, in my opinion. And we started rising all the way from there. I sold at 18. How stupid of that! How stupid of me to just sell from this minuscule amount of movement if I could have held on to it and, you know, gone up for much longer. But you're never going to determine the tops either. Whatever. You take profits. You don't lose money by taking profits. Although the amount of money I made on it was pathetic, $140. I wouldn't call that a big win, but it's something. You know, it pays for the dinner dates. Not that I go on any. Sui is on the rise as well. What do we got? 8% pump. 369 is the current price. We hit a high of 377 from a low of 330. Now, this one is saddening, and I don't remember if I used the example with Sui before on this, but I average out these two entries right over here because I don't know if we're going to hit this or if we're going to hit this level. Looks like we hit that level, and I could have put my trigger order right over here. I could have been making a lot more money right now on Sui because this is a $1,000 trigger order, I'm pretty sure, that did not get filled, unfortunately. It doesn't show me the amounts here. Perpetual futures is annoying, but you can do the math, I guess. 912 Sui at 328, divide that by 3. Yeah, it's probably $1,000. So I would have been going up with 1,500 with my average price dropped to around like 340, less than 340. Would have been making much more money, but that's unfortunate. I'll close this order since we're obviously not going to touch that ever again. Not for the time being, at least. Hey, good news is we now flip to an uptrend, although how would I even draw this? From what points? These low points? Oh, it's much lower than that. Even lower than that. I wouldn't even really call this an uptrend. I don't know where to draw these levels from. Definitely from the low point, I guess we're looking at a very macro scale, so that's what we've got going on. Just to kind of help us determine where we can bounce in future levels, right? Because this continues to go up throughout time. If we do like continue pumping or staying in a zone congested for a while, and then we start crashing, I'll be able to determine, look, we're gonna land with our uptrend. RSI is likely going to become oversold, so we're probably going to see a bounce from there in the future if this does happen. Just saying, just in case. Not that it will. We are yet to see what happens. So, cool. Cardano's also been having a great day. Yeah, this is me just trying to time bottoms. Look at how unfortunate this is. Look, what is this distance? Okay, I'm going to crash out. 0.8213. I had my order at 0.8204. Why? I had it exactly on the support level. Okay, so it wasn't with Sui, it was with Cardano, this example that I was talking about. Not even a millicent. You can rewind to yesterday's stream. I talked about exactly this, I'm pretty sure. Or did I average out these levels? I probably did. I did. I averaged them out. It's not like I was choosing specifically this level. But look at that. Not even by a cent. Yeah, I remember exactly. It was with the example with Cardano. This happened today. And, okay, well, could have been making something on Cardano, but I guess not. I thought I did have a position. I don't. I'm confusing with Aptos. Okay, all right. Sure, I missed out on a, what is this movement? Potential 14%, 11% pump. Oh man, I'm just doing nothing with my money. Somebody steal it from me, please. Don't actually, but breaking out of these downtrends, that's pretty good. It looks like we're mostly paying attention to possibly this one. Although trend really never actually officially confirmed changed, right? Uptrend is still there, so you would draw one from our low point August 2nd to lowest point of today. Am I back? Is my internet back? It said my OBS disconnected. Somebody help. I'll manually check on my stream. My YouTube thing is loading. I'm playing my own voice back just in case. Again. Am I back again? I think I am. I'm getting signal back. Dude, something is really bad with my internet. I'm scared. I'll speed up my little analysis thing that I've got going on. In terms of news, I mean, I still got stuff to talk about, but it's not as much. It's mainly the Powell thing, the Trump thing, and then bits and bobs that I forgot to cover yesterday or didn't have time to, rather. I think I'm back, right? Yeah, 10,000 kilobytes per second. My stream is on. Okay. Litecoin still practically in its downtrend, only up 5% today. Nothing too crazy for Litecoin, but it's had a good movement from the past, so I don't know, I feel like its momentum was kind of running out, but it's still there, still has its chance to continue moving forward. That's what I would say for Litecoin. It's easy to draw any real trends at the moment. Do I really have nothing drawn on this? Or is my internet just bad? My stream's still running. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of data refreshes over here. Well, my drawings for Stellar are still here. My second Stellar order did get triggered, so that... Am I back again? Dude, I'm so... My stream is being annoying. Okay. I don't know why I pay money to my internet if they're not going to be providing the internet. It's especially at this hour. Why this hour? I mean, maybe it's too much family using our